What is going on, people? This is Gaby Baby, and I'm back going straight into the offseason with the Washington football team franchise number 8. Buccaneers beat the Patriots 28-7 with Leonard Fournette, the running back, winning the MVP. And we have Thomas Peters, the new head coach of the New York Giants, and Joe Judge, who was fired by the New York Giants, gets the head coaching job with the Detroit Lions. Going into the last week, we can re-sign our players on the team. Charles Leno Jr., trying to re-sign him. You see what the contract is. $20 million, no bonus. And obviously he's not interested because he's not getting the bonus with that. But we're going to continue to work with him. He's probably going to go straight into free agency. Brandon Sheriff, we offer him a solid contract. $5 million signing bonus. Overall offer for 3 years, $42.7 million, and he accepts the offer. So that's great for us. We continue to have a solid blocker for the team, and here's some of the players that are retiring. Some notable names: Ndamukong Suh, can't even say his name, from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Josh Norman finally retires, even though he made the Pro Bowl. Trent Williams, former Washington football team player, San Francisco, he retires. Chad Henne, backup for the Chiefs, he retires. Ty Nsekhe, left tackle. Andrew Whitworth, he retires from the Los Angeles Rams. Emmanuel Sanders, wide receiver for the Bills, retires. Dwayne Brown, we were thinking about signing him in the offseason, but after 14 years, he decides to retire. We got Deshaun Jackson. He retires as a free agent. Richie Incognito, Gerald McCoy, Nate Solder from the Giants, he retires. Jason Kels, that's definitely going to help us when it comes to us in the NFC East, going against those veteran players for the Eagles and the Giants. Anthony Levine, Adrian Peterson, wow, after 15 years he retires. One of the greatest running backs of all time, arguably the greatest running back of all time. Tim Tebow, he retires after 7 years cumulative of being an NFL playing quarterback, being drafted in the first round. Larry Fitzgerald finally officially retires, even though he's been out for a couple of seasons in the NFL in real life. But that's crazy. Tim Tebow finally, I guess, he officially retires. And you got Frank Gore, he retires after 17 years in the league with his old self. One of the best running backs of all time, if you ask me. I think he's definitely up there when it comes to the yards of all time for rushes for running backs. Ryan Khalil, 14 years in the league. Drew Stanton played for the Cardinals for a little bit. Cameron Wake, 12 years in the league. So yeah, a lot of notable players. And so going on to the mock draft, going straight into it, we have Joe Spitzer, number 2, going to Houston. And our 14th pick, Kenny Allen, a wide receiver out of Oklahoma, 6'4", decent sized wide receiver. We have Kenny Cohen going all the way up to 19, back to 19, excuse me. RJ Holcomb going to the Steelers at the 5th pick. And so I just wanted to highlight Kenny Allen out of Oklahoma, runs a 4.4, 25 reps, nearly a 40-inch vertical. And I would say wide receiver isn't one of our needs, but it's something we might need. And here we re-signed one of our left outside linebackers, Breland Speaks from Mississippi. I thought this was a decent signing. He's a 67 overall. He's only 26 years old. And we have Isaiah Wilson out of Georgia. He's only 23. He's a 65 overall. He's a right tackle. we re-sign him. Should be able to make the team, or we can always, put him to the practice squad just to add depth to our team. So now I'm going to sim free agency. I would say week 1 of free agency, and we're going on to week 2 of free agency. About to show you a list of some of the top free agencies in the NFL. You see Devontae Adams, free agent from the Green Bay Packers. Mariota, Jameson. And as you can see, we have Charles Leno Jr. He went into free agency, but we're going to continue to go after him. He has 2 bids on him. And the only difference with our offer is that we're going to offer him some bonus money. So we offer him $4.3 million in bonus money. And one of those offers right there was the Colts. And so this is a pretty good deal with 101 total points. So hopefully we should be able to sign him. We have James Hurst, 8-year pro, 30 years old, out of North Carolina. He will be a backup to Charles Leno Jr. if we're able to sign him. And so we make an offer for $4.45 million for 1 year for James Hurst, just to add some depth and backup. He's a pretty big guy. He's a 72 overall. Normal development trait. See Von Miller, he went to the Miami Dolphins. And right here, looking for a right outside linebacker, Neville Hewitt out of Marshall, 7-year pro, 29 years old, 69 overall. We're going to offer him a contract just so we can make sure we have D is bad. It is. Being a 69 overall is bad, but we're still going to offer it to him based on who's on the market. And honestly, I'm just at this point trying to figure out the identity of this team. Looking at some of our draft picks, we had BJ Maynard out of Butler from the previous frame. But then we have Joe Spitzer here. You see he's too good to go for the combine, but his stats are decent. And then we have Kenny Cohen, where his ratings for his physical is either elite or great. And you can see right there, that's what really jumps off the chart right there is his ratings for his physicals. And then we have RJ Holcomb, elite strength, elite throwing power, prototypical pocket passer with a huge arm. And just going back to BJ Maynard out of Butler, a lower tier, I'm assuming it's Division 1 or Division 2, I'm not sure in football, but he seems like a decent right outside linebacker to go after in the draft. Marquise Wilkins, projected to be a top 5 pick. And you can see his NFL Combine. He did the Pro Day also. And just going back to Joe Spitzer, he's projected to be a top 5 pick. So that's why he didn't go to the NFL Combine. Instead, he went for his Pro Day. But his Pro Day, there wasn't really much that really stood out. And so we had the second mock draft. And they have us still picking Kenny Allen, a projected first-round pick out of Oklahoma. But a wide receiver is definitely something we don't need. And as you can see, we're going after DJ Chark. Last play for the Jacksonville Jaguars out of LSU. And so we're going to offer him 3 years, about $18 million. So he can be the possible second wide receiver, maybe third, depending on how Curtis Samuel does. We're going to offer this contract to DJ Chark. So we're going to advance the week. We're going to go into free agency off-season week 3. And we have an overall of 81 right now. Plenty of money in the cap. When it comes to cap room, we signed Charles Leno Jr. finally. We signed James Hurst and we signed DJ Chark. It looks like we're probably going to sign Neville Hewitt, the right outside linebacker. working in negotiations with him, a 6'9" overall. And we're also going to sign J.D. McKissick. We allowed him to go into free agency, but we're deciding to sign him, and it's going to be about less than $1 million. And that's definitely less than what we were working with him in the offseason. And we're going to do 3 private workouts, one with Joe Spitzer. And at first I was going to do with R.J. Holcomb and Kenny Cohen, but I decided to take out R.J. Holcomb and go with this guy out of Alabama, the right outside linebacker, Brent Boston. So it was Brent Boston, Joe Spitzer, and Kenny Cohen, because I'm definitely trying to get a quarterback in the first round. Alex Harris out of Penn State, they're saying we're going to draft him. Right outside linebacker is what we need. Probably not going to draft him. Like I said, we're going to try to go for a quarterback. So we're simming, going straight into the NFL draft. We're overall 81, 54 players on the roster of 75. That's the max. We have $34.1 million in our cap space. Going to the draft, the Detroit Lions had the #1 pick. They were the worst team in the league. And they're drafting Rashad Fleming out of Auburn. Second pick is the Jets with Greg Norton out of Memphis. He's a cornerback also. And the third pick is Joe Spitzer, getting drafted by the Jets. The quarterback we were talking about that was projected high. He's out of Clemson. Marquise Wilkins goes to the Giants out of Oregon State, right outside linebacker. Would have liked to have him on my team, but we definitely need a quarterback. Left tackle Ethan McClain out of Texas A&M goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers with the 5th pick. The 6th pick is R.J. Holcomb going to Denver, quarterback out of California. 7th pick goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Matt Knox, defensive tackle out of San Diego State. Forrest Ellington goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's out of LSU, right in. Jimmy Campbell, middle linebacker, Michigan, goes to the Carolina Panthers. The 10th pick, Frank Thomas, cornerback, Nevada. The Eagles, our rivals. And the 11th pick is Darren Ballentine from Louisville, cornerback, goes to the Atlanta Falcons. With the 12th pick, Dennis Darby is selected out of USC. He goes to the Jets. And with the 13th pick is Marquise King, right in from Washington, goes to the Minnesota Vikings. And so we're on the clock right now. And we are definitely trying to pick a quarterback. And I think right here, I have no choice but up. It looks like we have some offers from other teams with multiple picks from this year to next year. And just bottom line, I just didn't want to go with any team at this moment. I think I know the quarterback that we want to pick, and that's when I'm gonna go with my man out of Vanderbilt, Kenny Cohen. And as you can see, he has a hidden trait, and I definitely believe that he's better than Joe Spitzer out of Clemson. I think Joe Spitzer is going to be, he's overhyped, and Kenny Cohen is probably a better quarterback than him based on, the combine, based on the pro day. So as you can see, I decided to pick Kenny Cohen out of Vanderbilt, and I'm very happy with my selection, especially since he's a hidden trait. So hopefully he's able to get maybe a superstar or maybe even a X Factor development with him being at the quarterback position. I think we have our franchise quarterback being selected all the way back to the 14th pick, with 2 quarterbacks being selected before him, Joe Spitzer to the Jets and R.J. Holcomb to the Denver Broncos. And I'm just going to go through the first round so that way you can see all the picks that the teams are going to. Braden Harris, cornerback, Wisconsin, goes to the Chiefs with the 26th pick. Dwight Becton, running back out of Auburn, gets selected. He was the Heisman winner in the NCAA. Jonathan Farrell goes to the Arizona Cardinals, teaming up with Kyler Murray. Tevin Dobson out of Arkansas, defensive tackle, goes to the Ravens. They improve the defense. And look at this. Kenny Allen, in 2 mock drafts, believed that we were going to draft him, and he goes all the way late in the first round. And so right here, we have our second round pick on the clock right now. And I've 100% scouted Brent Boston, but he's projected his talent. They say he's a 3rd to 4th round pick. He's not worth the 2nd round pick, so I decided to go with Blair Britton, tight end out of Missouri, with our 2nd round pick. Letting you all see some of the draft picks. See, a quarterback was drafted, Gordon Stafford. He was drafted to some team. So now we're in the 3rd round, and I have my man right here, B.J. Maynard. We need it right outside linebacker. He's projected to be in the 3rd and 4th round. He plays for Butler, but I decided to draft him anyway. Good size, 6'5", 258 pounds, 22 years old. Has a hidden development trait, so I think that's a good sign. He could be a silver. I'm not sure. I'm still learning Madden. He might be a normal development, even though it's hidden, but I'm assuming that it's hidden. That means that's a good thing. And then we draft Hunter Dent with our next pick. I believe he was a 4th round pick. So he's also a hidden trait. So that's good right there. Yep, we draft him in the 4th round. And simming up to the 6th round pick. And we decided to go for wide receiver out of Alabama. His name is Lynn Keys. He's 6'5". He's 218 pounds. He's a big guy. And he has a good spectacular catch, which is a good thing. And then simming to the 7th round with one of our picks. And we're going to go ahead and select Sidney Buckhalter out of Virginia Tech. I think he's a fast guy. Acceleration is 95. That's pretty good. He's probably going to be either my kick returner or my punt returner. So as you can see, we have Kenny Cohen. He's going to be wearing the number 1 this year. 92 throw power, 81 deep accuracy, medium accuracy, and the short accuracy is about in the 70 range. Break sack is 85. I think that's pretty good. Speed is 84. It's the same as Taylor Heineke, but its acceleration is faster than Taylor Heineke. We have Blair Britton, so very disappointed that he's only a 65 overall, and he's a 2nd round pick, so I'm very disappointed. I would have never drafted him if he was a 65 overall. But then we have B.J. Maynard. He's a 67. He's a hidden development trait. Hunter Dent, 67, hidden development trait. We have Lynn Keys, 69 overall, wearing number 6 out of Alabama. And we have Sidney Buckhalter from Virginia Tech. So he might be a local product, so it might be good working with him. He's only a 63 overall. I'm going to be primarily using him for punt returns and kick returns since he's a fast guy. And right now, we're still 81 overall, but since we added our offensive guys, we have an overall offense 81, which is an improvement from 80. And you see the number 1 pick in the draft, Rashad Fleming, 78 overall out of Auburn. Kind of short, 5'11", 187, but he's a 78, so that's pretty good right there. There, another 1st rounder they had, 20 overall, Jerry Green, strong safety. And then we have Greg Norton out of Memphis, the 2nd overall pick, another cornerback. He's 6'1", 203. I think that's the perfect size cornerback. R.J. Holcomb, he's a 74 overall with a hidden development trait of just a hidden development trait. Joe Spitzer, you see he's only a 73 overall, so that's just sad. And we definitely picked the right guy. Joe Spitzer was definitely hype. I don't think he's gonna be bad, but when you have a development trait of just normal, that's probably pretty bad for a 3rd overall pick. Marquise Wilkins. And then we have Landon Collins. We're going to change him from strong safety to free safety for the season, so that way we can just put our Safety's in the right position. We signed kicker Young Ho Koo from Georgia Southern. He's at 81 overall. $2 million, $2.15 million in 1 year. We signed Janoris Jenkins in the offseason, 73 overall, 10-year veteran. I just want us to sign some free agents so that way we can just fill up our roster and maybe make this a competitive team in the preseason when it comes to the competition of trying to, determine who should be on the roster or not. We signed Trey Herndon out of Vanderbilt, another cornerback. He's a 74 overall. That's a good overall rating. And then we signed RG3. Yes, I signed RG3. And these free agents that we are signing, they can always be cut and it won't go against us. And right here, we have that man, almost forgot his name, DeMarcus Ware from Troy University, making the Hall of Fame. That's big time. Former Cowboy. I don't appreciate that, but hey, I think he deserves it. And I'm assuming some of you all that's probably played franchise mode, they probably have the DeMarcus Ware. This video, you probably get to see it with DeMarcus Ware making the Hall of Fame. But I'm sure this will be a great moment when it actually does happen, and I believe it will happen. You see, we get a 5+ on finesse move for all of our linebackers for the next 6 weeks. So that's pretty much the entire preseason. So I don't think it's going to really make a difference. I would have loved to use it, in the real season, regular season. And so we signed JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul, to $3.5 million for 1 year. And like I said, I want to see how he does on the roster. See if he even makes the roster. You see Kenny Cohen, he's going to be our starting quarterback, excuse me. And this is our roster that we have here on the team. JPP, he's going to be starting. Changed his number. He's going to be wearing number 91 this year. That's the closest number. I want to get him close to 90, what he was wearing in Tampa Bay. But, 91, I don't think it looks bad on him. And so I think I've improved this roster overall. And I'm hoping that we do much better next season. We have a new quarterback. We still have Taylor Heineke. We signed a couple players. JPP. Got some decent rookies that will pan out over the next couple of years, I think. But I think Kenny Cohen is going to be pretty good if I use him right. Pretty much the same lineup from last year, just added JPP. We have Neville Hewitt, 69 overall. He's going to be the backup. And as you can see, if we do cut him, that's going to be a penalty of $700K. But I think we would still end up saving a little bit of money based on what we gave his salary of like about $1.something million. Our defense is I believe we're either 81 or 80 overall. And we signed a couple more players just to fill up our roster. Chris Garcia, LSU. He can be the kick returner or punt returner because he's pretty speedy. Scotty Hill out of Washington State as a backup center. Want to see how he plays. Frederick Smith Jr. Jake Elliott, another kicker, just to see how another leg looks on our team. And that's pretty much it. On the next episode, we will be going up against the Houston Texans in the preseason, and I'll let you see the entire preseason of the games. Appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. Thanks. Peace.